YouTube. Mic turned on here. All right. Should be good. All right, everyone. We are live. So, back on here. We were on a few minutes, probably like half an hour ago or so by now, covering some storms down here in areas of Kentucky. They have since kind of died off, moved off to the east. There's definitely some activity in this area. Nothing too crazy with going on with this stuff right now. Do have some warnings. The main show is up here in areas of Illinois near the Illinois-Indiana border as of right now. So, I'm going to be going over all of this. This is somewhat dangerous. Um, no, we do have an observed tornado. We just got one. So, let's see. This is weather spotters confirmed tornado. There's a tornado on the ground in these areas right here. Let's see if we can find the border. So, Greenbrier, Hardinville, over to Port Jackson, Villas, Chosney, Landis. These areas right here are under the gun for a active tornado right now. We have very strong rotation in this area as we speak right now. So definitely a dangerous situation in this area. Let's look for, yeah, we have a debris ball right here in this area. So you could zoom in really, really close and see all these areas, but I don't think it's worth doing that. We just definitely need to be watching in this area. Very dangerous situation right now. So we'll leave that where it is. Checking back in down here. Let's see. Yeah, they just dropped the mesoscale discussion. But these storms right here have the chance to also produce. This is going to be the main show, though. This cluster of storms right here. So definitely something we need to pay close attention to. This storm, this one up here, is also a very strong-looking cell. Even has somewhat of a bounded weak ecoregion in it, which means that this storm is so strong that it's essentially carving out a place in the atmosphere where there's just upward motion of air and precipitation is just suspended above it. So very, very strong updrafts in this area. So we do have tornado possible severe warnings as well with most of these. The one of highest concern to me right now is this one right here down here to the south. Put this in motion here. Yeah, it's a very obvious little area here of just rotation and movement. So, yeah, very, very dangerous situation. Please heed these warnings. It's observed. Um, it was only a non-observed tornado warning for like a few minutes. It's likely means that it is very visible. So I'm going to switch back over here to weather-wise and try to get an idea. Yeah, this is that storm also. Switch to a composite. Let's see if we have someone on this cell. Let's try to reload this and see if we can get something going here. It's possible it doesn't work. Yeah, so that's not working. It appears we have several different storm chasers that are moving to the east right now to try to get ahead of this. So this will be key. If we can get chasers out in this area ahead of this dangerous storm, it will be helpful to see what's going on in this area. So yeah, very, very dangerous storm here, rolling east and northeast with time. So, let's see. We have someone behind it. Let's see if his stream is going to work. Yeah, so this is the view right here. I know it might be a little hard to see. This is from behind the storm. I'm gonna see if I can do it like this. Let's do it like this. This website right here will show us where all these chasers are. Don't know why the map is not loading. We got several people on this. Don't know exactly what's going on with everything here. I don't also know where he is relative to the storm, but this is a feed from this storm system. Very intense rainfall in this area right now, so a little hard to tell exactly what he is doing, where he is. Um, what do you? Okay. Um, let's see if this feed will work here. Yeah, so there's a few of them. I don't know exactly why that's not working for us, but we'll take it. It looks like Brandon Montgomery is trying to core punch this storm. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's going right for it. He's about to head inside of the storm. So uh, definitely worth watching there. Adam Lucio's up on the storm to the north, but his live stream is not working. Brandon and Jaden Pappenheim are headed east now towards Highway 1. So they're going to probably drop south on this towards Flat Rock within the next 5-10 minutes or so and try to get to the south of this storm. Although they might go a bit further to the east before doing that, just to ensure that they don't get stuck with this storm. So to leave that where it is for a second here, we're gonna go up a little bit, take a look at some of these storms. So on satellite, that is. So these are not super high top storms. Most of them are within about 9 kilometers or so of the surface. So they're not super tall. You can see them here as the sun is, unfortunately, the sun is starting to go down, so we're going to lose this visible imagery. But regardless, we can use it for the next probably 30 minutes or so, and just watch these storms as they go on. So let's go into what environment these are going to be entering here. So they're on the border of having a lot of instability and none at all for some reason. They've got about 500 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE as of now. So, you know, not a ton, not rocket fuel, but at the same time, it's more than enough. The low level jet is starting to increase in this area. I expect it to also increase with time. We can look at it out here. So it should increase a decent amount over the next little bit of time. So, yeah, I have to watch that closely. Everything is in place right now. The wind energy is in place. The thermodynamics are in place. We're going to, yeah, there is an abundant amount of 3 CAPE and surface vorticity across the area. That is what you can really use this as sort of a cheat code for looking at where the most tornadoes and the strongest tornadoes could be. So speaking of that, let's go into the outlook itself and what we can kind of expect from it. This is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. We've got an enhanced risk level 3 out of 5 right across this area right here. You can see our warnings are inside of it. And if we break it down by type, there is a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes. This means that there is a 10% chance that a tornado will drop within 25 miles of any given location. And then this black dashing in here indicates that these storms could be strong enough to produce tornadoes that are EF2 or greater. So they're expecting strong tornadoes in here. We don't currently have eyes on this storm system. We just got a new tornado warning issued. Brandon is about to core punch, most likely. These storms are quickly moving to the north and east. Their forward speed is quite fast. So let's click on it and see how fast it is. Northeast at 30 miles an hour. So they've got to keep up with these. Brandon is heading east. Let's see where he ends up. Over the next 5 minutes or so, we should be able to tell. Corey is also headed east. They're not really core punching right now. You can see they're kind of north of the storm. This is really starting to wrap up. This is a concerning look for sure. Let's go back here. Reload this. I do not know what's going on with the map. I don't know why the map's not working. Um, yeah, that is interesting. Not really sure why the map's not working. So we'll go back to this if it decides to actually work for us. So we're going to take a look here at the latest HRRR model for the United States, not over areas of Germany, like I was doing earlier. So let's see. Yeah, the latest HRRR is a short-range model, can kind of help us pinpoint where these storms will be over the next little bit of time. And they're just expected to move east. There even could be storms that kind of form behind where these storms currently are. We do get a band of storms that develops down through areas of Kentucky and Tennessee once again. I would question the strength of these to the north since this environment has already been overrun with storms. So I kind of wonder about that. But yeah, we have several more hours of likely intense convection to deal with, and the wind environment near these storms is impressive. So yeah, this is about as good as a photograph can look when it comes to an event like this. And you can see it's got that curvature in the low levels, kind of almost it kind of veers and then starts to back in the upper levels. This can help vent precipitation away. The height of these storms is just past 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers or so. So the wind at that layer and the anvil is very, very strong, very, very efficient at venting this precipitation off away from the updraft. So, yeah, definitely something we need to pay close attention to. Let's see if we have an update from the Storm Prediction Center. And so if I have the mesoscale discussions from the Storm Prediction Center pulled up here. Threat for all severe hazards continues with some increase in tornado potential expected into this evening. So they discussed this. Feel free to pause this and read if you would like to. I'm not going to read it here. But they're essentially saying that the environment is supportive of severe weather. And then this is the other one that we have, the other mesoscale discussion. And uncertainty is high in this area. It just left this map for some, and it came back. So yeah, this area down here, these storms right here is what they're referring to, and they're uncertain as to whether these storms will really do a whole lot. We have dew points around 60 degrees in this area, but they quickly drop off with southern extent. In fact, I think this is only higher because it had rain near the site. So in the mid 50s dew points, that's not going to get the job done in an event like this. We just upgraded to a PDS tornado warning, damaging tornado, and emergency management confirmed that it is on the ground. So please heed this warning. If you're in this area, this is a very difficult area to see exactly where it is. The end of this warning is right on along the Indiana-Illinois border here. So that's where it currently is. When it comes to cities, Duncanville, New Hebron, Flat Rock, all areas that could definitely be under the gun for this over the next 10 minutes or so. We focus on this in little increments at a time. Very strong rotation, impressively strong rotation. In fact, let's do a little bit of estimating here. So 82 and 24. So somewhere around 100 miles per hour of gate to gate shear. So it's not this by this alone. I would not assume this tornado is crazy strong. Not to downplay its danger, but I don't assume that it is too strong based off of radar alone. Now, looking at some of our other products here, we have a very clear debris signature here showing up right in this area, right where the tornado is. All this is showing is what the radar thinks is normal. It shows up in red. So rain, even small hail shows up in this red. And then when you get these blues to show up, not that there's debris in all these areas, when you see these greens and blues show up in the middle of a storm, that can indicate very, very large hail, and it also can indicate debris. Like 2x4s are not supposed to be in the atmosphere, and the radar knows that. So as this storm moves to the east, we'll continue to check in on the correlation coefficient to see if that debris ball spreads a little bit. But it looks very impressive as of right now. And this velocity couple is just tightening with time. It looks like And it unfortunately is not the only storm here. We have storms to the north of it as well that are not necessarily equally as intense. I don't know why velocity is not working. There we go. So this storm a little bit further to the north does have some rotation in it, although not quite as strong. All these storms have some rotation in them. And this is the latest scan. We just got a new scan in. So this storm might be trying to recycle and do another tornado because it weakened just a bit. So that was something to watch. We don't have a surface observation near this storm other than further down, but the environment is roughly 70 over 60 when it comes to temperature dew point spreads. That is more than favorable, especially this time of year. So let's check in with let's see if we can get any information from our storm chasers on the ground in this area. So Brandon is dropping south. Or Corey is dropping south, I should say. So he's just going. Hopefully he's safe over the next little bit. Let's see. I do not know what's wrong with this website. Very weird why it's doing this. Normally it's pretty solid website. Let's see if we can zoom in a little. It's hard to tell exactly where these people are, but they are close. We're probably just gonna have to rely on this. But yeah, we have Corey Gherkin is about to core punch, most likely. Let's see if I can. He actually already did. So oh wow, he's in a very, very dangerous location in this storm, right out ahead of the rotation. I hope he stays safe. This is not a good place to be in. And Brandon is dropping through the core right now. And on his stream, there's massive hail falling on his stream. You can barely even see it. His service is probably pretty bad. Yeah, he's got what looks to be at least quarter-sized to what's another? A golf ball-sized hail possibly falling as he drops to the south. New tornado warning just issued. Jaden Pavenheim's just behind him. Let's see. Yeah, he's just in the rain, but they're all trying to core punch this. So yeah, we're gonna watch these feeds closely. It looks like Corey is starting. He bailed on it, so he's either waiting here to see if he can see the tornado itself. I can't exactly tell based off of just this if he can see the tornado, but he is in such a location here that his signal is bad. There's hail around him. There's debris above him, most likely in the atmosphere. Let's see. We have other feeds as well. Brandon Montgomery's to the south here. He's got his camera pointed out the side. That's a nasty looking storm on his live stream. Let's see if I can zoom in at all. So this is Brandon Montgomery's live stream, and yeah, this is nasty looking storm. Very dark. A lot of trees in this area, so this is, I'm sure, pretty hard for him to do. But nevertheless, hopefully he can provide us with this feed that we desperately need. Brandon has just dropped to the south. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna reload this because something's wrong with here. I might have to open a new tab for this because something's wrong with the pinch zoom. Yeah, we're gonna just open it again. Very weird. Let's just move this out. Yeah, this tornado, this storm shows no signs of stopping by any means at all. I mean, this is I don't exactly know what the chasers are doing here. They're kind of converging near where the actual tornado is, which is not abnormal by any means. But at the same time, there's not a whole lot of road options in this area. So hopefully they stay safe. We do have a tornado warning issued out ahead of this, and it is observed. We'll see if they might drop that. Hopefully we have eyes on it from someone. Brandon's feed looks like this. A little bit hard to tell. They're probably getting close enough to where they will have visual on this tornado, so we will be watching for that as much as we can. It does not look like yeah, he's not here. So let's just go ahead and close this. So yeah, this is a very dangerous situation out in this area. Let's see if we can get some more updated information in here. No, no more, I guess. So I mean, these storms have nothing to stop them. That's the bad thing about a situation like this is there's nothing in the way. There's nothing about this environment that indicates to me that they would be slowing down or stopping at any point soon. Jaden Pappenheim just finished core punching. It looks like his windshield did make it. I don't see any cracks there, so that's good. And if you're viewing, feel free to drop a comment below where you're watching from and anything you'd like to say. I have the comments pulled up right beside me so I can read those. Let's see. So let's go back to our radar here. It's the latest frame from the tower that we've got here. This is the latest frame. So it's possible this tornado is starting to wrap up a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if it is. Its velocity couplet has become somewhat disorganized. I don't mean terribly so, but somewhat disorganized. And the debris ball does not seem as evident. Storm is one of the taller ones around, though. So it has the makings of a big one. We just need to watch it closely. I'm going to be most interested here in keeping an eye on these feeds. So it looks like Brandon is headed south, and he will likely be trying to take a east option if he can find one. He's got somewhat of a visual on the storm. So many trees in this area. Jaden just turned east, and his stream is not supported. So some signals disruption in this area. So again, if you're tuning in, let's go over the risk area here again. So we have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk across areas of central Illinois, central Indiana here. And it's all driven off of a 10% risk for a tornado within 25 miles of any given location. So, yeah, just a very high risk here. And we also have a significant tornado risk hatched out in this black dotted lines here. Means that the tornadoes that do drop in this area have the potential to be EF2 or greater. So, very high ceiling for an event like this. So let's take a look here at what the HRRR has to say. This is the latest. This is a 21Z run here, and we're going to get it in motion here. So it says that over the next couple of hours, we could see storms continue over this area and even move to the north. So we've got a couple more hours of just intense weather to look at here. I'm going to see if I have the sub-hourly. I do. I'm gonna show you guys this. A little bit more zoomed in here. New tornado warning just issued for some of these storms here. Let's see if we get this right. So yeah, it says that this cluster will continue move towards Indianapolis. That's a big population center, so definitely dangerous if that manages to happen. So I have to watch that closely. So I'm gonna put this in motion here. Very messy look right here. And it looks like they've dropped the PDS warning for this area. We do still have an observed tornado warning in effect for this area. So let's go ahead and turn these on. So yeah, you can see where all those boxes are. That's where our warnings are. Right where these tallest storms are. I mean, they typically do correlate. So we're going to go back to the radar here. And yeah, they've kind of grayed this PDS warning out. So we're gonna focus a little bit downstream. It does appear this storm is either recycling or is done. We'll have to watch. I mean, its velocity couplet is still very strong. We have a pixel here going 121 miles an hour outbound. So the velocities are there, but the couplet is not fully complete here. You really want to be looking for greens to the left of this bold yellow. That would indicate stronger rotation. So it looks like we have at least potential that the tornado itself has actually lifted, but the storm could well just be recycling. It's hard to tell. They're going to keep tornado warnings on these as long as they feel necessary. So let's see. Is there any other places to focus on? Let's see. Areas of southern West Virginia. Yeah, there's a cluster of storms moving through this area, a lot of which are rotating. Yeah, they've all got a little bit of rotation in them. So the environment is supportive out this way as well. Yeah, just south central West Virginia, we got another storm here. No crazy rotation, some broad rotation there, but nothing crazy, especially in comparison to your neighbors out further to the west. Let's see if we can. This in motion a little bit. Yeah, this storm, it looks like the tornado has lifted, and then it has kind of merged with the main cell. So really, all that means is the tornado lifted, and then it went into the actual mesocyclone. It kind of got eaten by the mesocyclone, if you will, and that could absolutely lead to it putting another one down. And at any point, this is just because it's lifted right now does not mean that it's over. It doesn't mean you should just go back outside if you're in these areas. Let's see, emergency management confirmed tornadoes. So yeah, they've dropped the PDS, but they have issued just another observed warning for this area here. Let's go check back in on our storm chasers here. Put this in motion. Let's just get out to the end here. So most of our chasers are down to the south of it. They've made it out. Jaden Pappenheim's under it. I wish he would use his windshield wipers for a second, because his windshield is just covered. There we go. So yeah, he's kind of under the storm, kind of moving to the east. He doesn't have the best vantage point. Brandon Montgomery here, very, very similar look. Brandon back here. So yeah, just this can be life-saving information if they get where we need him to be. Logan Eschrich is back here as well, and he's kind of got eyes on this lowering. I wish we could full screen this. It doesn't appear that we can, though, not at least from this website. But they've all got a general idea. Corey Gherkin is heading north. He might be trying to get out ahead of this by going to the north, so we'll have to watch. They've also they've issued a tornado warning. They just issued this. So what's going on here? I feel like I just saw a warning got issued in this area, but it might have just been my eyes deceiving me. I don't know what that was. But yes, if you're in this area and this warning polygon right here, right along the Indiana-Illinois border, definitely stay in your safe places. We got chasers on the ground trying to help us figure out exactly where this is. Jaden Pappenheim is leading the group right now, kind of underneath the rotation. Let's see. Yeah, we do. So here's what I'm talking about. We have green starting to show back up again. It tells me that the updraft is recycling and is trying to do something else, trying to put another tornado down. So yeah, it's starting to kind of get that hook shape back. So very, very dangerous. We'll check back in. Let's check it up back in on our overall environment here. So especially if you're just tuning in here, just a minute ago here, we had an active tornado on the ground in areas of west central Indiana to east central Illinois, right along the border here. You can see these little areas of red here, that's the cells. And what you're looking at, what this map is the low-level jet. And we really need this stronger and further to the north to see these stronger tornadoes. That's not to say that we can't see tornadoes with it like this, but it also, that is something that's potentially saving us. We did have a PDS tornado warning just a few minutes ago. We might well see another one here within the next couple of minutes. So definitely something to watch there. Our ingredients really are coming together. Upper level winds above 60 knots, low level winds 20, 30 knots or so across this area specifically, and several hundred joules per kilogram of CAPE. So this is just an instability measure. That's all this is. And this has worked its way down. The sun has started to set in these areas. Excuse me. The sun has started to set in these areas, and it's also been overrun with a lot of cloud cover. So, yeah, we're starting to lose some of the edge on this instability and all that stuff. But that's not to say that the event is over or that it is downtrending or anything like that. We just got this in. This is about an hour and a half old, but regardless, it's still roughly the same thing. And here's our surface pattern. So the areas right here are between two fronts. We have a stationary front to the north and a warm front to the south. Maybe some smaller convergence bands in this area. I'm going to open a new tab here. Let's see if I can find it. Fronts, high resolution. A little bit hard to tell. Really was not looking for that. I need this. Yeah, this is the map I'm looking for. So this is as of pretty recently. Across these states we're watching right here, our winds have started to back out of the southeast a little bit. They're not just from the due south like they are areas to the south. They're kind of back, kind of pointing back towards the surface low. And that pretty much just it's just enhancing our low-level directional shear and increasing the potential for tornadoes. That's really the bare bones way to put it. Let's see here. I'm just going to leave this. Our wind environment here. Let's reload this. Now we're kind of between towers here, but in the downstream environment where these storms are headed, this is the environment we have, and very impressive looking photograph in this area. See our winds kind of going like this and then curving back towards the surface. That also resembles the shape of the storm, which means the storm would be like that. That's what we're seeing right now. Kind of those longer storms with a smaller hook echo on them. But we've already seen that hook echo can still absolutely produce. So let's head back here and see what we've got. So this is the latest frame. Our lost my train of thought there. Our hook echo is kind of interesting looking right now. It's kind of dog-legged. That's what we call this, where it doesn't really curve in. It's just kind of a protrusion off of it. We'll see what this does. They've just updated this warning to radar indicated, so no longer observed. This tells me that it's further reason for me to think this tornado is no longer on the ground. That's again not to say that it is not dangerous. We have a lot of storms in this area. Let's use our other radar to kind of further analyze this a little bit. So yeah, here's that, and its rotation is picking back up. So definitely something we have to pay close attention to. I want to watch this cell back here near Hunt City, Indiana, or Illinois. That is, it's already kind of got that kidney bean shape, and some broad rotation in it. So it has the potential to do dangerous things as well. Here is this storm up here to the north. It's just got a severe warning on it right now. It does not have any rotation that's too tight on it, but it does have some rotation. So It's a very active little area. We have a total of 6 active tornado warnings right now. So, yeah, just a rough little area of weather. It's really starting to get towards Indiana. We'll have much higher quality radar images as we get closer to the Indianapolis radar tower. That'll be a kind of key piece of information here. A higher elevation look at this storm that we've been looking at shows that it is absolutely shaped the way a supercell should be, and it's got that velocity couplet. I mean, absolutely. Um, these storms are not that tall. This arguably, to me, indicates we could have that tornado back on the ground even. We kind of have that protrusion off. We need to watch for the next frame. This was as of you guys probably can't see it. Yeah, you can't. This frame was as of 4:48 Central Time. Is 4:49 Central Time right now. Let's see how far apart these frames are. So 2 minutes apart or so, 2-3 minutes apart. So we got another little bit of time before seeing another update. So, little bit of a lull right this second and anything crazy ongoing. So, if you are tuning in, if you're watching right now, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see those and subscribe to this channel for future updates. I'm probably gonna have to, if I'm not already off by 7:15, 7:20 or so, I'm gonna hop off. I make long form videos as well. I'll get that out there to you guys to watch, and that'll be just about a broader look at the U.S. Let's see if we can get this velocities back. Yeah, definitely rotation in this area. I'm going to, you guys hold on 1 second. I'm going to take this right here and take a screenshot of it. I need to make a thumbnail for this video. So, yes, let's see. Alright. We are good to go. I mean, this storm up here, I would argue, moving up towards Indianapolis, it looks dangerous too. I mean, this shape of this storm is concerning. Its rotation is broad, but it has that shape. It has that shape. So, something to watch. They've even upgraded this for 2-inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Wow. That's a impressive looking little cell right there. Yeah, it's got a nice little hook echo on it, broad rotation, and must have some pretty strong surface winds. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this area you see in blue right here, south of Brandytown, West Virginia, that's it's definitely possible that that is leading to some stronger surface winds here. So we'll take a break from this for just a second and go back and see what our storm chasers are doing right now. This storm does look like it's starting to get its act together again, unfortunately. And for whatever reason, these chasers, most of them are headed back to the west along not Highway 33 here in Illinois, back to where this this storm is. And this box you see here is Y'all Watch because I'm using WeatherWise. So interesting that they're doing that. A broader look at our at this entire thing right now. We have this cluster up in this area, moving into Indiana fully, and we have another kind of cluster back here that the Storm Prediction Center does mention has the potential to be severe. That doesn't mean it will be, but it has the potential to be. So definitely something to watch. We also have this area of energy. It's kind of the lead wave of energy that was causing some issues in Kentucky earlier. That is moving into areas of West Virginia right now. So something to pay close attention to, but none of it is screaming dangerous at me right now. So Sorry about that. But yeah, we have a couple storms ongoing in this area. I really want to watch as this makes its way up towards Indianapolis or so, because um, obviously it's a higher population center in this area, and if storms like this make their way up there, it just so much increases the potential to be just a catastrophic event. I'm not calling for that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I feel like it could, and I just want to be careful about this. Um, so let's see here. Um, I'm going to take one moment here to set up the string. Um, let's see here. We have gotten a new tornado warning issued here for areas out ahead of this storm to the south. It is another observed warning, so let's look at it. It says emergency management confirmed tornado. So we have a tornado on the ground once again. Let's go back here, kind of take a closer look at it. Yep, I mean, it's got that look. It absolutely looks like a dangerous storm. The velocity couplet started to get its act together again. Not too much of a debris ball yet. We could see one form here in just a second. Definitely something I would like to watch. If you'll excuse me 1 second, I'm going to grab this screenshot I just took and see if I can get it to go over to my other computer here that I'm running analytics off of. Let's see. All right. Sorry about that. We should be good here. Uh, all right. So I got that all set up. I just wanted to make sure I got the thumbnail for the live stream saved before we get too much further into this. So just tuning in right now, we have several active, very, very active storms across areas of Illinois and Indiana, really starting to get more into Indiana. We've had a PDS tornado warning in some locations, and we have an observed tornado on the ground as of the time we're speaking, just south of Sullivan, Indiana here. Down to Carlisle areas like Carlisle, Paxton, Indiana. Let me switch over to this and see if I can get kind of a better idea of the specific locations. Approaching right along Interstate 41 as we're speaking. Velocity couplet has absolutely tightened up over the last couple of frames here. So definitely something to pay attention to and heed the effects of. And the very strong looking storm here, approaching the Green Sullivan State Forest Duggar Unit and the Bear Run Coal Mine as we move on here. So definitely something that we need to watch very closely. We do have some storm chasers on the ground, although they have started focusing on storms to the west of this one, and so we'll have to watch. This storm back here is rotating, albeit not very rapidly, but it does have some rotation in it. So want to keep an eye on that. over the next little bit of time. The Storm Prediction Center doesn't have a whole lot to say about that storm, but they have been talking some about these storms back here and what they could be doing. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. They've just did they just upgrade this? I guess not. Again, I think my eyes are deceiving me. It's very interesting. This storm here, put this in motion. It did have more of a hook echo on it, but it has since kind of deteriorated a bit. Um, the reason for that, not quite sure. But this storm down here, I think, and near Paxton, Indiana, is of most concern as of right now. So, yeah, definitely something to pay close attention to. So, we're seeing the sun start setting on these areas. You can see these kind of textured clouds in this area, and I can overlay warnings, and that's exactly where they are. But as these work their way further into Indiana, I am somewhat worried about their ability to be catastrophic. I'm not calling for a catastrophic tornado in Indianapolis or anything like that, but I think if these storms continue doing what they're currently doing, they have the potential to do so. They don't seem to care too much about their lack of instability across the area. So let's see here. I'm going to reload this. Yeah, we do have some of the 22Z. So we have the next few hours here. So this is what we got right about now. And yeah, it's we have several more hours before this really does a whole lot of diminishing. I mean, several hours of intense convection in this area. We might even get more to fire up behind where some of this has gone because we have atmospheric recovery going on. So who knows when it comes to that? Definitely something we need to watch closely. I'm going to go to the convective outlook. So yeah, that's the current risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's go to here. So if you are just tuning in, this is our Storm Prediction Center outlook. I've got to turn the AC down in this room. It is very, very cold in here. All right. Kind of take a breath here and refocus and kind of go back into this area. So let me overall look here. That's a very concerning look. Hold on now. So the latest frame looks like this. See how it almost looks like a donut? Like there's a void in the middle. I'm not saying this is a given truth, but typically a look like that is associated with a really strong tornado. Um, we just lost it with the last frame, but it almost essentially had an eye. Um, so that's dangerous. So if you live in Duggar, Indiana, here, you guys are up next, really for this storm as it moves up to the north. So please be careful in these areas. Nothing else really too crazy going on right now. Um, I got likely a hail producer moving towards Indianapolis. This whole cluster is slowly moving up that way, and I am somewhat worried about it. And we actually have a tornado warning on a cell way down here in Indiana or Illinois. Sorry, southern Illinois here, north of Mount Vernon. So let's check rotation. Yeah, we got a little bit of rotation. Not really, to be completely honest. Not really entirely sure why they would have done this, but regardless, they're the experts. They know best. So let's take a look here at where our storm chasers are and all that good stuff. So our storm chasers that we have on the ground right now are mostly heading due west right now. Why they're doing that and leaving a storm like this, I'm not quite sure. It could be that they're trying to get on these, and it's very possible that they are. I'm not going to pretend to know. They might be expecting these storms to do something, and the environment in this area is not crazy, but it's also not too bad here. Let's do it like this. I want to kind of go into this environment. So this is the temperatures across this area. So we got like mid 60s across a lot of this area, and say down where these storms currently are. I mean, yeah, mid 60s. That's temperatures, dew points. A little bit less, upper 50s or so. But I mean, that's enough to get the job done. Um, yeah, so the environment down here is somewhat supportive. Let's look at the overall pattern in this area, the way it looks. So down in this area, let's turn the radar off here. We have maybe kind of localized areas of 60, 65 knots or so in southern Indiana here and southern Illinois, where these storms are ongoing right now, and that's somewhat supportive of these these storms intensifying. Thermodynamically, there's a localized area right here, about 1,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE. So that's kind of a higher end, more generous uh, guess when it comes to the instability, but that doesn't mean it's inaccurate per se. And then 2 to 4 on the supercell composite parameter. Nothing crazy. I mean, this event in a parameter space is not insane, but it's adequate. That's the word I would use to describe this. Right here, this is our overall surface pattern. There is a distinction. There's something here, very subtle, like the low pressure is right here. And we kind of have some sort of frontal boundary drapes out across here. This is likely, it appears that these storms are kind of riding along that boundary. So, because of that, that's probably kind of one of the reasons that they stuck around so long. So, it's possible that's what's keeping these storms around. We have 50, 55 knots of effective shear across this area. So, the wind environment here is absolutely supportive. The low level jet is going to be a key player. You can see Indiana, Illinois right here. especially in the southern areas, we're starting to see this low-level jet increase a bit. This is doing a few things. This is helping to increase low-level moisture by bringing up that kind of warm, moist Gulf air, and it's also elongating low-level photographs. So I'm gonna reload this and see if it will update. It appears that this is about the last one we've got. So this is just out ahead of these storms. And our low-level wind environment is nothing crazy. But our low-level jet resides between 1 and 2 kilometers, right about here or so. What the heck did it just do? It just updated. So the stronger the low-level jet is, the further away from zero. Zero is where you're standing, and it's not. There's no wind. Wind expands out on a chart like this in all directions. So the stronger the low-level jet is, let's say that the low-level jet was over here. Well, that means that your photograph would be drawn in and look like this. It just overall elongates and kind of curves the low-level photograph. And all this does on a really fundamental level is increase tornado potential. That's what this really does more than anything else. So, our wind environment is supportive. I'm going to reload this. We're going to see if we can find any reports. So there have been some tornado reports, kind of where we were following these storms here. So, let's see. No information specifically at this point from that one. This one here, yeah, there's other than the fact this was relayed by an emergency manager, no specific things with that. So here's the latest and greatest. Here's what we got right now. So a very active look. Severe warnings. We've got tornado warnings. We even have an observed tornado warning down in this area. And we do have one storm chaser, Jennifer McMahon, whose stream is not working for some reason. So here's the radar for this storm. It still looks impressive. Nothing about this looks like it's weakening or that it is falling apart. It looks like, if anything, it's going nowhere. It's strengthening maybe. Our velocity couplet is massive, although I will note something that's very important in a setup like this is that the further away from the radar tower you are, the more inaccurate this data ended up being. And because of that, we really need to wait until we get closer to the Indianapolis radar site to say anything overly definitive. However, that being said, it doesn't mean that we should assume that these storms are just not doing what the radar says they're doing. The radar is most likely correct here in that we have a very strong velocity couplet, but the thing about this velocity couplet is that it's being measured well up in the atmosphere. In fact, let's go here. Oh, where's it at? Here is the radar application I like to use specifically for radar. So, let's see here. So roughly in this area, the beam is 5.3 thousand feet up in the atmosphere. And what that really means is that it's pretty self-explanatory, really. I don't need to explain it any differently. The beam, the radar beam, when it hits this storm, is 5.3 thousand feet up in the sky. So that's not giving you a very clear picture of the storm at the surface. It's just not. And because of that, we have to be careful about assuming things about these storms. But the Indianapolis radar is right up here. So let's see here. We're about 60 miles, 65 miles away from the Indianapolis radar site, and these storms are moving about 30 miles an hour, I think. Let's see, 35 miles an hour. So they're going a bit faster, and than they were earlier, that is. So they're heading up towards the Indianapolis radar site, and this will give us a more clear look at what these storms are doing when it comes to just when it comes to all of their things, the hail potential, tornado potential, the wind potential. There's a little bit of all of that in these storms, so we need to watch it closely. And we're really just going to be relying on our eyes. That's our storm chasers, and we're also going to be relying on reports that come in. So if you are in these areas, I don't want you guys, if you are fortunate enough to actually see this tornado on the ground, I don't want you to randomly make a report that, hey, there's a tornado on the ground over there. You need to do it correctly, but call the National Weather, look up the National Weather Service number for your area and call them. I mean, let them know, because in a radar kind of like dead zone like this, where the closest we've got is 60 miles away or so, we need some sort of ground truth, some like, yeah, we know this tornado is on the ground. We need that information. We can look at radar, but like this velocity couplet is way up in the atmosphere, so it's hard to get a good idea of what's going on here at the surface. They've issued another tornado warning for this cell down here in southern Illinois. I'm not really sure why. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of odd, in my opinion. So yeah, this is what we got right now. Now, when a little bit of a lull, only this one observed tornado warning, and we really don't have a whole lot of information about it. Our storm chasers are also not focused on this storm anymore. They've started to head off to the east, or sorry, the west. They're even focusing on these storms. So we'll watch them. Obviously, be grateful. They've just issued a new warning here that it's a radar indicated warning. So we need ground truth on this, really, to be able to figure anything out definitively. The sun is setting over this event right now. Is going on here. There we go. So here's an overall kind of look at this storm system. That one that formed right there is one that's had warnings on it, and it's moving up towards the Indianapolis radar site. So again, it'll be very, very important that we have this information and it gets closer. We have a radar up here. We have a radar over here. We're right in the middle. So it's hard to see definitively at the low levels of the storm what's going on. So we'll go back here. Yeah, our storm chasers are headed off to the south and west right now. Look at some of their feeds. Brandon's feed looks like this. So he is pointed down to the south, maybe a little bit to the southwest actually, but he can see this thunderstorm poking through the clouds. And Logan Estrich is a little bit north of him. So it looks like they're all headed to the west to try to get on these storms. That'll be important too. I wish for our sake on a stream like this that we could have them stay on these storms, but of course we'll always be grateful for what they're doing, and that they're out here, they're risking their lives for this. But let's see, we don't really have updates from this stuff. We have to wait a little bit longer for this information to come in. We should have a new yeah, this is the most recent. This is updated. So this is the low level jet. We went over this just a few minutes ago, and this is new as of 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. That is. It's a 1 hour delay. So this is the most recent we've got. And in southern Illinois and Indiana, we're still seeing 25, 30 knots in the far southern areas. This is supportive of severe weather. You can see if I turn the radar on here, it's kind of encroaching on these storms. Excuse me. And over the next couple of hours, it's expected to increase. That's why I do think that we'll see this risk not really go anywhere over the next little bit of time. So if you are tuning in right now, I haven't gone over this in a little bit. This is our risk area today. We have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk in this darker shade of orange you see here. And this is just southern Indiana and Illinois. And what's driving this, what the cause of this risk is tornado driven. We have a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any given location in this yellow shaded region here. And these black hash marks you see indicate that these tornadoes could be EF2 or greater. So we have very strong tornado potential with this if the storms can get their act together. And that so far they pretty much have. So we'll just go back to this. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that tomorrow we do have a threat. This is likely not worth going live for, but in the northern areas of the Gulf Coast states, maybe even as far to the west as northern Louisiana and areas of Arkansas along the Mississippi River, and as far east as maybe even the upstate of South Carolina. So, kind of expansive risk here. This is driven off of a must be wind, maybe just hail. Yeah, so it's a hail-driven threat tomorrow. So, uh, hard to tell exactly, but we will need to watch that. I'm not expecting that to be worth going live for or really covering too heavily, but it's very possible that we do. So we look back at our big picture here. This warning down here was just flashing. They're both still radar indicated, so criteria have not changed. It's getting messy, it looks like, up in this area of the storm. It really does look just kind of messy. We can click here, and both of our radar towers are giving us pretty similar images. I do think that the Indiana tower is technically closer now. So we do still have a hook echo on this storm. We still have a concerning look. The velocities look like this. So we do have outbound and inbound pixels. We've switched towers, so these colors are inverted now, but regardless, still strong rotation in this area. A little bit hard to tell exactly what is going on. Hello, Walker. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, we got to watch this one. This is obviously, to me at least, this is the most worthwhile storm to pay close attention to. We have other storms. I'm curious to see what these storms down here do, kind of on the southern area of the risk, right here. They're kind of entering the enhanced risk. I'm kind of curious to see what they do. But nothing about these storms is all that crazy. I'm honestly a little surprised that we have tornado warnings on these. A little bit surprised. Let's see. See if we have more hours. Yeah, we do. This is the latest HRRR, so we're going to go over this and kind of see where these storms are expected to go. So again, kind of like I said earlier, a couple more hours, several more hours maybe, of intense convection. And this is the HRRR is picking up these cells down here. I'll just circle it. Can't make you guys assume. These right here are where the storm chasers are headed. So the storm chasers are thinking that it'll be possible that these storms do more than just sit there. So something worthwhile. They kind of go up. Indianapolis will be a kind of a bigger area. And we get a line of storms that develops, and they it kind of fades away. So that's the latest HRRR. Let's look at storm reports real quick. I want to see what we've got here. I'm gonna reload this, give it a chance here. So definitely more reports overall, the higher number of them. And still only these 2 tornado reports. These reports are going to be key pieces of information as we move on here. So let's see. Give this a chance to reload. It might reload automatically here in a second. But yeah, so our hodograph looks beyond impressive, especially for this event. Storm motion is right about 30 knots off to the northeast. That's what we're seeing right now. So we can confirm that. I honestly would tweak where this one is. I would, based on what we've been seeing, this one is kind of more, let's get the speed right, kind of more over here, which is important. Because if our hodograph goes like this, that's one thing. If it were to go like this second one I drew is much more favorable. So it's important that we know this is an estimation off of the radar tower. This is not supposed to be some sort of gospel truth. We are starting to see, with these last few frames, the low-level winds starting to increase. And that we kind of expect that to happen. That's what we often see in these areas. And that's, you can see in areas I circled, the low-level jet's kind of out of the due south here. So maybe even out of the southwest. So that would lead me to believe that one should be to the right, along or right of this vertical line you see. But that's nitpicky, obviously. This is a low-level jet, about a mile above your head. And yeah, this is just this is a general estimation of the strength of the winds about that height. We really, if you want high-end tornado potential, if you expect storms to do that, you need stronger low-level jet winds than this. You can see right here is where our storms currently are, and you can turn those off and make this a little bolder. We really would need these stronger winds to kind of expand up into this area. And if I go into the future, they kind of do over the next little bit of time, even strengthening to 40 knots or so. So they do strengthen, but that's not to say that they get far enough north and orient perfectly. But that's again, that's kind of nitpicky. So we have that. We can look at the 500 millibar jet, and just across all of this area, we have a solid 60 knots, 65, 70 knots across all of it. So it's definitely more than enough. Our wind energy, if you were to make a checklist, you could check that off the list because it's more than enough. And to kind of summarize all that, I know it gets kind of sporadic, but across most of our area here, central Indiana specifically, where these clusters of storms are going 45, 50, 55 knots, maybe 60 in some areas of effective shear. Effective means that that's what the storm can kind of feel. It's what matters. There's shear, there's winds above the storm, and there's winds below where the cloud base is. But if you factor those in, that's kind of unhelpful. So that's why you look at effective shear. It's the amount of shear that these storms could actually see. So yeah, we have more than enough. The wind, again, you can check that off. Now, I think one thing that could be somewhat limiting these storms from being explosive is a few things. As of this update, this is as of 6. Well, wait, this is interesting. 2300. So this is as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central. And so we've just gotten this update. One thing I really want you guys to note, you see these kind of blues, these hashed areas kind of like kind of faded into the background here. These are what this is convective inhibition. So what that really is essentially negative instability. The storm has to overcome this before it can tap into the instability layered above it. So I'm going to pull an example. So it's hard to see. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to show you this to you. This is an estimated SKU-T based on the RAP model based on all of our current conditions. Our storms are based here right about 9 kilometers. We've seen that. We can confirm that as ground truth. They also start right about here. So our cloud layer is like that. And we have quite a bit of shear throughout that cloud layer. Not a lot of directional shear, speed shear. We go from 35 knots at the surface to over 100, 150. So a lot of speed shear. But negative instability in this instance would be down here somewhere, where this black line is along or even to the left of the red. I'm not going to explain this. It's not helpful to you guys necessarily to know what this is. You can just take my word for it. This is not great. This SKU-T is not overly supportive. What I pulled this from was Southern Illinois, South Central Illinois here. So there's several things about this that are not great for tornadoes. That is, our directional shear that you need desperately to get storms rotating is somewhat non-existent. Right here, and the surface layer, you see how the green and the red kind of go like that? That's called an inverted V. It's a very shallow and very subtle inverted V. However, the green is dew point, the red is temperature. The further they are apart, the further apart or the further away the atmosphere is from saturated. You need saturation to occur to get clouds forming. So if you have dryness in the low levels, that can end up leading to a lack of storm, to put it simply. And we have some sort of kind of cloud layer above it where that kind of increase some. So not great. Another maybe even a cirrus layer above this. So that could be leading to a lack of instability. Now, zoom back out of this. I'm going to show you the hodograph based off of this. It looks pretty similar, honestly, to what our observed hodograph is from the radar tower. I mean, the area shaded in blue here is the effective inflow layer of the storm. So height-wise, surface 1 kilometer, 3 kilometers, probably 9 kilometers or so out here, or 6 kilometers. So you can kind of section out like that. But that height through about 3 kilometers is the effective inflow layer. And it's curved. Like, again, this line will roughly mirror the shape of the storm. So kind of elongated. Or storms don't necessarily look exactly like this. They actually, if anything, look more like that. Kind of that horseshoe shape. So that being said, it's been a minute since we looked at the radar and looked at all that stuff, and that is obviously the most important thing. So let's get this updated. I'm just going to reload it. What the heck? See what it has to say. I'm going to turn this on. It's going to help me figure out where these storms are. So turn on warnings. Okay. So this is what we got right now. This is what's going on right now. Our storm chasers are these little green things right here. They're in the middle. We do have actually two storm chasers on the storm that we've been watching. Something is wrong with Adam Lucio's live stream. It has been consistently for a little while now. The tornado warning we have on this is radar indicated, so it's gone away from observed. That's obviously a great thing. And let's just click on it like this. Here's a more like detailed look, the actual radar. So we're getting closer to the Indianapolis radar site, although it does appear the storm will kind of pass to the south of it. So I don't think the storm is going to go up like this. It could. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to go kind of like this. So it'll remain further away from the radar tower than you would like, but it'll also remain close enough to be helpful. And we still have these 3 cells down here that need watching. Brandon is on his way towards these. The sun is setting. This is going to be a key factor. When the sun sets, we're going to have to watch for just a decrease in severe weather, since we don't have a whole lot of heat in an environment like this. We only started the event off rather, with like mid-60s. We didn't start off with a whole lot of temperatures. So if we lose daytime heating, we also have the potential to lose more instability. And if you lose more instability than we already have lost, I would just want to reiterate that can quickly degrade the severe weather potential. So that's obviously a great thing for people living under this risk area. So these 3 cells specifically need to be watched. Let's take a more detailed look at the radar here. It's been a few minutes. So this storm that we've been watching is over Worthington, Indiana right now. So definitely watch over the next 10 minutes or so, and it'll be out of your way for this to be the most intense in this area, but it'll move out pretty quick. Rotation-wise, some, but not a lot. It really is not a lot. Let's switch here. So we've got a mesoscale discussion for this storm by itself. Okay, so we're going to read this more in depth here in just a second. So I keep clicking on these. Here we go. This is actually, we've just switched to where we can use a different radar site. So that's awesome. You see this like slight like haziness right here? That's actually what we call a 3-body scatter spike. So that's the hail right here in this purple, this pink. is so intense and the hailstones are so large that it scatters the beam, the radar beam, and gives you this like I just picked the worst color possible. It gives you some like artifacting features back here. So we do have that. That's worth noting. The rotation in this cell has decreased a little bit, but again, as we get closer, I do want to watch that. This storm up here that is moving towards Indianapolis right now has one heck of a hook echo on it. Let's see if the velocities back that up. Not really. A little bit, but there's not like a distinct area of crazy rotation with this. It could be kind of random that we have this blob here, but it does look insane, and that's a close proximity thing. So let's do an updated beam height check here. Um, so in the middle of the storm where the rotation is, we've gone down to about 5,000 feet as opposed to 5.3 thousand feet, and this will continue to decrease as we move closer to the tower. Let's check in on these as well. There's a hook echo that's developed on these storms in southern Illinois. Um, broad rotation. Nothing crazy about these. Let's see if we have a closer tower. Yeah, just broad rotation. Nothing crazy about this. So I'm gonna take 1 second here. I'm gonna put you guys back on this. Um, whatever the heck is going on. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put you on this and let it play here. And I'm going to grab a bite to eat. So I'm gonna give you guys this loop. I got food sitting here beside me. Um, so I'm going to step aside and eat that, and I will be back here in just a second. So I'm not going anywhere. I can just let this run. So. All right, we're back. Let's see here. Let's check back in on everything. The first thing I noticed right off the bat, Bloomington, Indiana, um, Ellettsville, Indiana, kind of, excuse me, along I-69. Yeah, something in my throat. There we go. Long I-69. Let's use the latest frame here. Even though this frame doesn't, we can just do it like this. It's very broad. I mean, this storm has kind of lost some of those really good characteristics that a typical supercell would have. However, that doesn't make it incapable. In fact, this is a relatively strong velocity couplet. We have very, very strong winds right here. Let's see if we can do this right. 99 miles an hour. What the heck's going on? Oh my goodness. I can't stand when that happens. I'll just put it like this. There's a lot of rotation in this area. From Salisbury up to Newark area. So, what about our storm chasers? Where are they at? Well, they've kind of scattered themselves out, and Logan Estrich is heading down towards this cell that's been producing a little bit. So is Brandon. So they're headed down to this area. I'm not exactly sure why. Not to hate on them or anything like that, but I don't personally know why they would be doing this. Just personally. So we're officially done. We have to be officially done with the visible imagery. But one thing that I just remembered to do. There is a mesoscale discussion ongoing right now, in the red right here. This is for that individual supercell we've been tracking for quite some time. So, history of tornado production. We've seen it produce while I was streaming, which hasn't even been all that long. We've seen it produce like several different ones. There's a PDS warning on it. There have been several observed warnings. I'll just read this discussion out so you can hear it. The supercell thunderstorm tracking across the northern portions of Tornado Watch number 10 is the primary concern for severe weather in the next 1 to 2 hours, with a history of rotation and tornado production. While further north in the cooler air, VWP profiles, so that's vertical wind profile, that's what that means, from the Indianapolis radar site shows strong curvature of the hodograph in the lowest levels, which will help support continued mesocyclone and tornado development. With a lot of low-level storm relative helicity. If you have over 100 meters squared per second square in the first half kilometer, absolutely more than enough. And we have 120. So we've surpassed the necessary amounts there. Even further south away from the frontal boundary, profiles and some of these radar sites still show strong support for the low-top supercell longevity. However, some uncertainty exists in how far eastward current convection will be maintained given only modest dew points. So this is something I find interesting, and I completely agree with. It's odd to me. Let me switch over to the other app here. So you've got several regions here, and there is some sort of frontal boundary that divides that mostly these storms have been riding along this whole time. And to the north of that boundary, it's much cooler. I mean, we have temperatures in the mid 50s, dew points lower than that. To the south, it's 63 over 55. So it's just warmer and more moist. That isn't to say that it's enough moisture, but it's better per se. We do have a station right out ahead of this storm, so 64 over 54. They're 10-degree temperature dew point spreads generally. That's a common theme across this area. So I'm going to put this in motion here. Um, it's interesting to me how this event could work. We still have a lot of real estate down here to the south of where these storms are, along the Ohio River, kind of. So I'm not about to say that. Actually, the Ohio River is further to the south. I don't know what river this is. I can't remember. I used to know, but regardless, um, in the southern areas, the far southern areas of Illinois, Indiana, I we have better thermodynamics. I think it's not a whole lot different. Even areas further to the south. I mean, mid 50s dew points, up maybe upper 50s in some areas. It's not necessarily going to get the job done when it comes to when it comes to significant severe weather. Can you have severe storms in an environment like that? Yeah, you can. But even so, um, that it doesn't mean that you get anything significant out of it. So, all of that to say, along this frontal boundary, I'll show it to you right here. It's a little bit hard to see. You have to be like used to looking at stuff like this to really see it. Let's upload or update this here. So right out across this area. So it's subtle, very subtle. But our frontal boundary, as of right now, let's draw on some features. These winds kind of come around and like right here is where the surface low is, right there. You could even draw a circle around it. Excuse me. So you then look for wind shifts, right? All of these winds in this area are pretty much out of the due south. Frick. Let's go like this. And then these winds are kind of oriented more out of the east. So right somewhere along in here, you have a wind shift, and there's some sort of boundary here. So that is actually maybe dropped a little bit south of where our storms are. You can see that there's some rain being reported up in these areas. Indianapolis is up towards here. So these numbers, 63 over 53 at this station right here, temperature and dew point respectively. So you can see we have a lot of 50s. However, areas down here, it's a little bit better. We have maybe even upwards of 70 degrees as surface temperatures and upper 50s dew points in the far southern area. It's kind of along the Ohio River here. So does that mean that we're about to see a huge uptick in severe weather? No. I mean, there's no storms in this area right now. I wouldn't make that up. This right here, we have one cell kind of down in that area, and it's already leaving it. It's really on a map like this. It's right here that I would want to watch for the most significant potential severe weather. However, if you remember where in these states we just drew that boundary, let's see, let's draw here. It was like right here. So some of these storms to the north, some to the south. Do you notice how the ones to the north are less organized? The ones to the south have warnings on them. So it's just ever so slightly warmer, and it's important. So let's kind of take a deeper dive into this. We haven't looked at the warnings here in a second. So broad rotation on these storms. Nothing specifically organized. Brandon is down in the southern storm. I still find this interesting. I'm not hating. I mean, Brandon's awesome. I can't personally say I understand what exactly he's doing. We also have Logan Estrich down this way as well. So their feed will be important, although the sun is going down. So it gets a lot harder to tell what is going on, what you're seeing on their feeds when it gets to be like this. Computer's slowing. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and be personal. I have like I don't know how many tabs. A ton of tabs. In fact, for those of you who are sticking around right this second, it was right here. 61 tabs. Yeah, my computer's not a huge fan of that. But regardless, we can get off of that. Switch back to this. So, uh, these storms, these back here, I'm curious to see what they end up doing. I have my doubts that they're going to do anything too significant, but as they move up into this area, might be a little bit better. Obviously, this cell right here is what we've been focusing on for some time, and it's sort of redeveloping its hook echo. And the velocity coupling on this thing is insane, I must say. But it's just not in the most favorable environment. So let's look here, the Indiana radar site. This storm itself is just passing to the south of it now. So these storms here have really lost some level of organization over the past little bit of time. I mean, like really, they're kind of straddling I-70 with the strongest stuff. There's another stuff in the north, but these have really just lost some of their characteristics as a strong storm. Let me put this in motion here. They go back like 30 minutes. They were just stronger. Just to put it simply. Um, let's see here. Um, look at this. 1 second. So I just translated this comment to English. I can't speak any other languages. That's I think you said dangerous conditions. Um, yeah, areas coastal Puerto Rico definitely they kind of go back and forth with their conditions. Let's click on this. There's so many warnings with this. There's a lot of things to render. High surf advisory, rip current statements, and some thunderstorm activity. Yeah, I'll be darned. Um, wouldn't have guessed. All right, it's go time again. We got an observed tornado warning just west of Bloomington. So let's take a closer look at this here. It just turned observed. Let's freeze this on the last frame and analyze it a bit. This observation, when was this? 6:05 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, this is like an hour old. Okay. If we really need this to be more updated, but hey, it's what we got. So this storm right here is obviously the storm of highest concern. It's observed. Who saw it? Emergency management confirmed tornado. So we have ground truth here. Something's on the ground in this area. Very strong area of rotation. I mean, impressively strong. At the just west of the Bloomington Airport here, Monroe County Airport in Indiana. So very dangerous situation. We have a tornado on the ground at this time, and it's moving towards a major highway. Let's look at some other products here. Nothing specific when it comes to a debris ball yet, although the next few scans could easily reveal it. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Let's see if we can get this. Trying to load in some level 2 products. So this product right here, spectrum width is what it's called. Yeah, this is concerning. You see this little area right here. That's an area of essentially turbulence. Areas that border the storm, all this stuff down here where there's not actually rain falling, I wouldn't worry about that. This is all three-body scatter spike from the hail. But inside where the actual precipitation is, where that tornado is likely on the ground, there's turbulence there. That can just kind of further increase our confidence that there is in fact something on the ground in this area. But yeah, is absolutely go time. Last few frames starting to kind of get its act together a little bit. This frame was as of 6:55. It's now 6:59, so we're due for an update here. And we have it here 6:57, so this is still a couple minutes old, but it's more updated. This looks concerning. This velocity couple is much larger in diameter here, so definitely something concerning about that, for sure. So if you're near the Monroe County Airport in Indiana, specifically in the town of Bloomington, Indiana, I believe this is Interstate 69 that kind of goes through this area. Please, please, please heed the warning. We know that this is on the ground because emergency management has reported it to be so, and yeah, it's just a bad situation at this time. So we'll continue to watch this. See if we have an updated frame here. 58. Maybe a little bit of a debris ball. Nothing distinct. You really look for like this color of blue and like a perfect little circle shape or something. I don't know why it just drew like that. Yeah. Anyway, nothing specific yet. But again, we could see this change pretty quickly. The storm itself on radar does not look all that organized. It really doesn't. But hey, that doesn't mean it's not. Radar is not always the last story. Other tornado warnings in effect as of right now are over in areas just south of Effingham, Illinois. There's two distinct cells here that have that kind of comma shape to them. So definitely need to watch that for possible rotation. The westernmost cell has the most rotation, and it is still very broad. So I'm not too worried about those as of right now. Much more worried about this storm here. This is as of 7, so this is about a minute old. Very hard to tell exactly what's going on in here. Our velocity cup, it looks nasty. Just over areas of the airport. So this is a dangerous situation. I don't expect that they're going to issue some sort of PDS warning for this or anything, because there's not a whole lot of observable information about this other than storm chasers. We have one person chasing this, but they're still far enough away to not be able to really help us. Let's see, not that. And there's the PDS. Well, wouldn't okay. Let's take a look here. Traffic cameras. Do we have any traffic cameras in this area? We do not. So that's not great, but it's what we got. This is what is. I'm going to do. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find traffic cameras from this area. I've never looked at this before. There's that warning. Well, we can use this camera possibly later. It's a still image camera. I'll keep this up. I don't expect this to really be a whole lot of help, unfortunately. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, this definitely looks bad. Particularly dangerous situation. Let's read this a bit. Hazard damaging tornado. Source emergency management confirmed tornado. So to repeat, a large, extremely dangerous, and potentially deadly tornado is on the ground. To protect your life, take cover now. Move into a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows if you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle. Move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. It's always scary, I know, to hear information like this from experts and professionals. Like, that's horrifying that a professional is telling you that you should, and they know best. And so if they're saying that, it should be the most reason of anything to heed that warning. So let's see. It's now 7:04. It's been a few minutes. Let's take another closer look here. Yeah, this is not good at all. Just north of the Monroe County Airport, and just southwest of Highland Village, Indiana here. Potentially strong tornadoes on the ground as of right now. We do have a debris ball right here. You see these blues start to make their way in? That's very distinct right here, just barely downstream from where the actual rotation is. You can see it here. I don't know why it's not loading. That's very annoying. So latest frame kind of knocked it down just a bit, but not really. 703, 703. Let's see. Yeah, debris ball. I want to watch this over the next couple of frames. Yeah, I mean, not a good look. The National Weather Service nailed this. They got the smoke scale discussion issued. I don't think that there's going to be anything stopping this from changing. As a 6:45 at the airport there, this is perfect conditions. Kind of. It's 64 over 54. About 10-15 minutes before the storm hit, so it probably increased a little bit. Temperature did. So it's a 10 degrees temperature, dew point spreads, and wind. See how it's that little flag is kind of pointed down to the south and east. It means the wind is backed a little bit, and what that means is it just increases that low level hodograph curvature here. Let's check in. Speaking of hodograph curvature, this is a big deal, or a big thing to look at. So this is the closest tower that we have. This was as of just a few minutes ago. This is a very impressive looking hodograph. This, to me, this perfectly explains why the storm is doing what it's doing. This right here, that's the storm motion from 0, 0. So that's where the wind is zeroed off in both directions. So you could draw a vector, a line. So the storm is moving that way to the northeast at right about 30 knots. The east-northeast, I should say. The colored line you see that goes like this, that's the hodograph itself, and that plots the wind at different heights. These are denoted by that one. That's 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3, and onward. With as opposed are plotted with their speed. So at 1 kilometer, the wind is 30 knots out of the south, like the south southeast, kind of pointed up like that. At 6 kilometers, midway up through the atmosphere, the wind is up near 70 knots out of the west-southwest. So there's a lot of directional shear here, and I've said this before, but the hodograph shape roughly resembles the storm shape. So you kind of have a hodograph shape like this. I mean, your storm is going to be shaped like this. I mean, and it is. It has that hook on it. They issue another one? Hold on. Let's see here. No, they just hadn't updated it yet. So, okay, this is the latest frame that we've got. Oh, nose itches. And this storm is kind of fattened up a little bit almost. You could draw its outer periphery kind of like this. Kind of horseshoe shape, comma shape. And all of this is potentially tornado. So let's see if it is or not. So the velocity coverlet is weakening a little bit as it goes over Bloomington. That's obviously a positive. So right now the rotation is centered over Arlington, Indiana, just north of Bloomington. So please stay in your safe places in this area. Let's see what we have here. 706. I don't know why this won't load. Very weird. Is this the latest? Yeah. Okay. Do we have a debris ball? Briefly, we did have a debris ball, but it has since gone away. Gives me the thinking this tornado may have lifted. So we'll watch this. The warning expires. When is the warning? Until 7:30. So it has another like 20 minutes till it fully expires. Check on the storm down here where Brandon's at. A little bit of a dog leg type of area of rotation. Not anything crazy. These storms up here, broad rotation, broad rotation. So they got potential, but their thermodynamic environment is just not helping. They're just not. Um, let's check in on their feeds here. Um, so yeah, Brandon. Well, actually, there's three of them down here. Brandon is right near where this rotation could be. So he's got eyes on it. It's obviously dark. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. Jaden Pappenheim's going into the storm. So some interesting feed possible there. And Logan Estridge started to head back north a little bit. Man, that's a terrible road to be on. A dirt road like that. But yeah. So they're still on these storms. They still have the thought that they could do something. And we really don't have anyone on this storm right here. This is a very unfortunate time to not have someone on this storm. When is this? 2300. Let's update this. Yes, we're fixing to get an update with all of this information in just a minute here. Some of it's updated, some of it's not, so we'll have to watch. Let's look at the low level jet. It's gonna be a key ingredient here. Yeah, I mean it on a localized basis, it has increased, and I think that's why in these areas, this kind of corridor right here, starting to increase, and that kind of nudge from the low level jet might be what started this storm going again. Hard to tell exactly. Do we have an updated? I doubt it. This is gonna probably be a while till this updates. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna update this. So this is a metascale discussion they issued for areas where these storms are that the chases are on. Olney, Effingham, stuff like that. And so what they're saying in this is that the wind environment, while supportive of organized storms, is beginning to not be supportive for tornadic storms. There's a difference between those. The environment downstream of these ongoing supercells, those three that the chasers are on, still show strong curvature. So instability remains modest. When combined with kinematics, that's wind energy, the environment could continue to support mesocyclone development and maintenance. So they're pretty much saying that you got this area of storms right here, south of Indianapolis, and then this area of storms that might for a while stop having a tornado threat with them. But if they continue moving up towards where these other storms are, their wind environment will start to change a little bit. This is all because, by the way, we can explain why this is. That's one thing I like about the weather. You see these? This is the low level jet. It might be hard to see. You can see these little tan wind barbs. They're pointing kind of like that, so the wind is coming up like that, and they're just subtly more like this. I don't know what I just did there. They're kind of more oriented like that. So if you have low level winds like that and the upper level winds like this, you could draw that shape. A lot of curvature from the surface all the way up. If your low level barb right here, it was oriented like this, kind of like we see it, and your upper level barb is oriented like this, it's much more a straight hodograph. So we can explain why they're saying that, and I think that it makes a whole lot of sense what they're saying. So let's see if we can find it. Effective storm relative velocity. This is a good way to kind of measure the rotational potential in these storms, essentially. So in these areas of particularly southern Illinois, getting into southern Indiana, there is 200, 300 meters squared per second squared of effective storm relative velocity, which is quite impressive. But this will start to quickly move out of this area and into Illinois more, or Indiana more, along the Ohio River. It will quickly do that. In fact, I think it may have already done this a little bit more. Let me look. This measure here is specifically the measure of the low level, like the lowest level, first half kilometer in the atmosphere of rotational potential in that area. So, uh, yeah, there's definitely some wind energy remaining, although kind of like they were saying, there's going to be some sort of transition time from a lot of rotation to just a long straight line hodograph. But at the, not this, I don't mean to click on this. Let's reload it here. This is a hodograph from a little bit further downstream. Let's look at like one before this or something. So there's a lot of extreme low level curvature, but these hodographs in general are starting to straighten out a little bit. Let's see if we can pick another site. Hard to tell. Yeah, these hodographs are transitioning to more of a straight line. Now, if you move upstream or downstream a little bit, they just curve more. There's just more of a hook look on the low levels of this hodograph. It's very, very simple. So you can see it here, and that's just supportive of rotating storms. So let's see here. I'm going to update this, reload it, and then we have 2 more runs ahead. Let's see. All right, this is the latest HRRR, and here's what it's going to show. We got another hour, 2, maybe 3 hours of reasonably intense convection. Although this could make it into Ohio and start to cause issues. I just think that we lose so much of our thermodynamics and so much of our instability by this time that we really just start struggling to maintain reasonably severe storms. But I mean, for example, this band of broken storms rolling, starting to get towards the Appalachian Mountains and into areas of the Deep South, this is getting into like early tomorrow morning. I mean, these could have some lightning with them. I'm not about to sit here and say that they've got like absurd amounts of potential to be severe. Here's the lightning flash density for all of this, starting off now, so you can see where those storms are. So, and we're talking like barely have any lightning in them, based on the HRRR model, that is. So, I have to make a decision right about now of whether to stay on and cover this or hop off for a little while and I need to make a long form video for this evening that goes over everything. That's going to take me some time. I'd also like to get to the gym. I love the gym. So let's see here. Is there anything specific that's ongoing that needs coverage right now? Let's go over the radar one more time. Okay. Here's the latest with this Bloomington cell. Let's see, we've got, yeah, this storm has definitely lost a lot of its rotation. Not to say that it's that's not about to just reload and do it again. It's been doing that its entire life. But at the same time, I don't expect that it is doing anything too crazy. So we actually have a surface observations from 701. So this was like, this is cool. This was just right about the time this rotation was going over the area. Do you see what this says? It says the temperature was, dew points were 63 over 54. So that's okay. South-southwest winds, so that would be on the southern side of the rotation, were 44 miles an hour, gusting to 70. So this alone could support the idea of that being at least an EF1 tornado, just because this lags so much. So that's an interesting piece of information. Yeah, it gusted to 70. So yeah, if anything else, that was the rear flank downdraft wind gusts that made their way through. But I would have reason to think that that could have been the tornado itself. But this storm will continue to need coverage for some time. But that being said, it doesn't mean that we need to be doing it. We did just switch to an observed tornado warning. Weather spotters confirmed tornado. So they saw the tornado near Laclede, however you would say that. So let's look at some of this. Again, this is way too far away from the radar to be believable. Nearly, the beam height is over 6,000 feet up in the sky. That is not helpful when it comes to uh, a storm like this. It doesn't help you figure anything out. But they saw it, so that makes it valid, right? That's all we need. These spotters really help out, especially in places like this where we don't have good radar data. And so yeah, that's what we got there. Cluster storms to the south seems to be kind of falling apart a little bit. I mean, 6:30. So these have another like 10 minutes. They might drop them even faster. These storms have really started to increase their forward speed. They're probably going to drop these warnings here in just a minute. So let's see here. Latest loop of this. Yeah, honestly, the way this thing has been going, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's about to do it again as we get towards Nashville, Indiana. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if it just reloads and does it again. This is getting towards south central Indiana here, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stop and make a long form video, real quick here. Before I do that, up near Rushville. What state is this in? Yeah, Illinois, Rushville, Illinois. We also do have a tornado warning, but again, limited radar data in this area. So I'm gonna hop off and make a long form video. It's probably gonna take me some period of time, and then I'm going to I might hop back on if necessary, but I also need to make it to the gym if I can. So I'm gonna do it like that. Thank you guys that tuned in to this video. I appreciate it. Stream's been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes, so longest stream I've ever done. It still kind of blows my mind how some of these people like Max Velocity and Ryan Hall and all that can stream for like 12 hours at a time. Like, it's insane. So props to them. But I will possibly hop back on. Tune into my long form video that I'm about to make. I'll probably drop about 8 to 8:10 p.m. Eastern time. So that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.